This video is to review how to make a round dish scrubby. We're going to start off by doing a chain 3 and then 9 half double crochets in that first stitch. We're then going to join it, which will give us 10 loops to work through. We'll chain 2, and then in each stitch space we'll go ahead and do 2 double crochets. So as you can see, in this stitch space there's 2 stitches, in this stitch space there is 2 stitches, and so on all the way around. So we'll go from 10 stitches to 20 stitches. We'll then join. When we reach to the last space, we'll join, which will give us 20 stitches, and then in this third row we're going to do 2 double crochets in a space and then 1, and then 2 double crochets in a space and then 1, which will again increase this third row to 30. So again you can see there's the space and 2 stitches, the space and 1 stitch, the space with 2 stitches in, so on. So we're going to go to that point, and then I'll show you the next part where we come up the side and then decrease around the back. I have a size 6, I'm trying to see if I can see it, J hook, size 6. I find that gives nice big dish scrubbies. Alright, and I'm going to work here with this yarn. It's kind of interesting working through the camera. I'm watching my work through the camera. Alright, I do a magic loop is my center knot, so I simply get the tail end, twist it away from myself to create this loop, and that is what my hook goes into. And then I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then in this first loop here is my chain, 1, 2, 3 stitches, and then the stitch that's on the hook right here. We're counting these chains, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to work, these are my stitches, I'm going to work my half double crochets in this hole right here. So for my half double crochet I pick up a stitch and go in my working loop, pull it through. I've now got 3 stitches, and I'll pull through 1, 2, 3, and I'll keep continuing doing. These when I have some yarn out, doesn't pull quite as much. See where I am again. Pick up my stitch in the first hole, pull it through all 3. Just keep going. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think this is my 9th. And you can see this kind of like a braid loops that are created around the edge. Those are the stitches that I'm going to do my next row in. So I'm going to count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, so when I join this with a slip stitch, that will create my 10th loop. So again, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you see this hole in the middle with my magic loop. When I pull this tail closes it up really nice and tight. Now this tail, to save me having to go back through and stitch in, I just kind of hold it up against this row here as I crochet, and it will kind of sew itself in and be hidden. So I'm going to loop it over there so I can hold it easier. Alright, so I've done my 10 stitches. I'm now going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then work in this first loop here. I'm doing double crochets this time, so I'm picking up my extra little stitch, going through that loop, pull it through, and then through the first 2 loops, pick up 1, second 2 loops. Now I'm going in that same hole again because I'm doing 2 stitches in each one. So 1, 2. I'm going to pull some more yarn. Now I'm going in the next stitch right here. I'm going to do 2 double crochets in there. If you concentrate on looking at this thread, not these little tufty bits, you can kind of see the stitches in there and amongst these little eyelash pieces. So there's 2 stitches. I'm now going to do 2 double crochets in here, and I'm going to continue that all the way around. That will give me 20 stitches. I'm going to hold this. Doing this next one. Ooh. Pick up the stitch, go in there, and I'm doing this in real time so you can pause it and watch it as needed. I'm trying to make sure I go slowly, just as if I'm sitting there with the person in person. Alright, 2 double crochets in here. Okay, see that? I'm going to do 2 double crochets in here. We're almost all the way around. Alright, now my tail, I've been sewing it in or crocheting it in as I've been going. So now it would have to come all the way unraveled and unraveled from here for it to come unraveled. This is going to be just loose in the middle of the scrubby, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, we've got 2 stitches in each space all the way around. Okay, this is the last one. Now this space here is where we chained 2 from, so that's actually acting like our double crochet in this round. So all I have to do in this space is 1 more double crochet, because my chain stitches at the beginning were my double crochet. Alright, now when I join in this stitch right here, I should have, if I do a slip stitch through and through, just go pull the tail. And we're going to count to make sure we've got 20, and this is a pretty forgiving project. It's not like we're increasing to make a hat, so if our stitches aren't quite 20 on this row, it's no big deal if they're 21 or if they're 19 or something. It's okay, it's a scrubby, it's someone's not going to be wearing it, it's not going to be lopsided. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, where this comes out of. Great. So now in this next row, I'm going to chain 2 again, build up for the next level, 1, 2. And then in this first stitch here, I'm going to do just 1 double crochet, because as I work all the way around, I'm going to do 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, all the way around. So with starting with 1 double crochet in this first loop, when I work all the way around, this loop here will only need 1 more double crochet in it, because this loop already has a double crochet in it. Instead of treating the chain as the first stitch of the round, I treat the chain as the last stitch of the round. I find it gives a closer, neater closure. I do the same when I make hats too. Alright, so here we go. 1 double crochet in this first space, and then 2 double crochets. Okay, then the next space, 1 double crochet. And then 2. And I'm going to repeat that pattern, 1 and then 2, 1 and then 2, all the way around. Now if you've had to pause this and try and look at what I'm doing, you've got plenty of time. And if you lose track, is this supposed to be a 1 or a 2? Look back in the previous one, you can kind of see there's 2, so there's 1. This next one will be 2. Trying to watch my work and watch it through the camera so I can make sure I'm doing it so that you can actually see what I'm doing. I'm wondering if green is light enough. I think you can see the stitches. I think maybe I should have done it with my yellow. I like working in the round because you can kind of see the end coming up, you know you're getting close. Alright, this has 2. Maybe I miscounted somewhere. Okay, so this next one here is going to have 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet coming out of it. Now instead of joining with a slip stitch like I did last time, I would normally join right there and pull a slip stitch through, but we've now increased the front. We need to work on the sides and the back. So as you can see, the front has this look to it, the back kind of has this spiral line going through it that you can see if you compare the 2 different, front and the back, has that spiral look to it. So what we're going to do now is work just in the back loop of the stitch. Instead of going through both, do you see this braid at the end? Instead of going through both the front and the back loop, we're just going to go through the back loop. But I'm going to put a stitch marker on the front loop because we're not going to join it, we're just going to work in a continuous round. So let me thread that out a little bit. So this is going to be my marker stitch, and I'm just going to go ahead and put that stitch marker on the front. So now as I work around, I'll be able to see each time I get back to this starting point, because I'm just going to work in the continuous. Alright, so in the back loop only, I'm going to do a single crochet. So I'm going in, pull it through and do the stitch. And the same in the next one, not the front loop but the back loop only, do a single crochet. Not the front loop but the back loop only. And I'm going to continue doing that all the way around. And I'm going to do 2 rounds of this. So once I come to this stitch marker again, it's just going to hang out there for me. Back loop only. And I do 2 rows of this. I think it gives a nice side to the scrubby. I almost called it a scrunchie. The scrubby, dish scrubby. Almost all the way around, look. Oh. Keep bumping the phone a little bit with my hand. Alright, I've made it all the way around back to this. So now I'm going to continue doing just a single crochet because I've widened it. Now I'm coming up the sides before we decrease it on the other side, because it's a double layer dish scrubby. So again, continuing in the back loop only. I'm trying to do it in real time as well, so that as you crochet, you can kind of watch as I go, and if I get too far ahead, you can still pause it as you need to. And I'm not going particularly fast, and you can see how long it could take once you get to a regular speed, maybe even faster. I'm trying to pause and explain it a little bit, so it might be taking a little bit longer than normally if I'm just sitting watching a movie, crocheting dish scrubbies. It's funny, when I have a booth at a craft fair, I have a table full of different projects, and people will come up to me and say, "Wow, did you crochet all these things?" And I say, yes, I love to crochet while I watch movies. So as you can see, and I gesture to the table, we watch a lot of movies. So, but I feel like then I've got something productive completed, even while I've enjoyed watching movies with my family. Alright, I'm back to the beginning, which these stitch markers are nice to be able to recognize. You can see the row that it creates going in the back loop only, and so even without a stitch marker, I've got used to recognizing when I'm back to the beginning. These stitch markers help to visually make it easier for me to see. So now we are going to decrease much the same as we increased. We did 2 in each row here and then 2 in every other row here. So we're going to do it in reverse. We're going to decrease every other stitch here and then decrease every stitch. So once we get to our stitch marker, we're going to do 2 stitches together. In the back loop only still, we're going to go in the first stitch, pick up, come through, and then go immediately into the second stitch, pick up, come through, and then pull them together. So those 2 stitches are now together. Then our regular stitch, we go through, pull the stitch through, and do a single crochet. This next one, we're going to do 2 together again. Go in the first one, go immediately in the second one, and pull them through together. And then a single. And then 2 together. 1, loop, 2, and pull it through all 3 loops. Okay. Again, the next one, just a single. I'm watching it through the camera this time to make sure it's visible. So I'm doing just a regular back loop, single crochet, and then these next 2 I'm going to do together. Do 1, and then immediately in the next one, and pull it through all 3. So I'm going to continue that alternating all the way around until I get to my stitch marker again. Single, and 1, 2 together, single, and 1, 2 together. this is making it a nice even decrease on the other side, just so it was as even increase on the front side. And again, if you forget which one, did I just do a single, did I just do double, again, this is a dish scrubby. It's going to be quite forgiving project. You don't have to worry too much, but practicing dozens of these will get you more confident with recognizing the pattern, the increases, the decreases, and you'll be able to feel confident in moving forward with bigger projects, hats and such like, that people are actually going to wear, and you want those stitches to be even. Alright, here's my stitch marker again. I'm going to do one last single crochet in the back loop only. Alright, do you see these lines forming? Now, in reverse, we did increase one, single, double single. Now this row on the back, we're going to decrease every single 2 stitches. So go in the first loop and the second loop and pull them together. And we're going to do the same in the next one. First one, second one, pull them together. Now we're going to keep going until we reach the stitch marker, but we're going to keep doing it even beyond the stitch marker, because we want to close the gap to maybe about 5 or 6 stitches that we're then going to gather together. I'm not very straight on this, it's rather wobbly, so I hope you can still see it okay. Here comes my stitch marker again. As you can see, my gap at the top is still rather big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 stitches. I want to decrease a few more. Probably at least until it's only about the width of my finger. Oh, bumped my camera again. That's probably good. So I'm going to pull a nice long loop, and I'm just going to cut maybe a 6-inch tail or so. Okay, so I've got my tail and my loop, and I'm going to pull the tail through the loop. That will tie it in a knot. Okay, now I'm going to flatten this out. That's my back, that's the front, there's my little stitch marker. See it makes a nice, about the size of a little bit bigger than the palm of your hand. So now I'm going to get my yarn needle, and I want to cinch these loops together and close this off much like the front was. So I'm just going to weave it in and out like a drawstring bag is what I'm creating. Just in and out, just in the back loop only, again, just so I can make sure that that can close up nice and tightly. If I went through all the loops at the back here, then it would be a big bunch of string here at the close. I want these to close up nice and tight, so I'm going to just pull it. There we go. And then create a knot. Just pull them through a few times. 1, 2. There we go. Creates a bit of a slip knot. Now I'm going to go tuck this. I don't want this knot poking out at the top like that, so I want it tucked inside. So I'm going to thread my needle in the middle and just poke it out to the edge. Pull it nice and tight to pull that knot in. And then with this tail, I'm going to do a slight back stitch. You can see how where this is coming out here. I'm going to loop it in this hole here and then just thread it a few ahead. Gently pull it so it pulls that close so it looks like one of the stitches, but it's not gathering in. And again, I'm going to do the same. This is where my string's coming out, so I'm going to loop it behind these loops here and thread it forward a bit, and then just pull it tight. And again through here. Oop, where am I? Thread it forward and pull it tight. And probably one more, because this is getting kind of short. Oop, so short it's almost coming out. There we go. One more, just a few stitches ahead. And then with this slight tail, as you can see, it hardly goes across the scrunchie, the scrubby I mean. So I'm gonna thread it in and literally pull it through the other side. Now it doesn't matter if it's a little bit squashed, okay, and you can see this poking out the other side, because now I've made sure the loop is nice and tight and I can pull it through, and that tail is in the middle of the scrubby now. Alright, I hope this has helped explain it, giving you something to look back through each time, and you'll have lots of people who love to do the dishes with these fun little lightweight. They dry really easily, and you can wash them in the washing machine, stick them in the top rack of the dishwasher to sanitize them, clean them once a week. And yeah, enjoyable, lightweight, and don't scratch the non-stick dishes. So have fun making it.